Hi everyone, this is Ben from USDP with you again. This time we're going to talk a little bit more about AI optimization. So we first covered how to make sure that the individual web pages are understandable using structured data or schema markup. But then what else? This is something that maybe you've heard about already, maybe you even have one on your website, and it's called an LLMs.txt page. So as the name implies, it's a page on your site that's there, it's visitable, but a human viewer is not ever going to have any reason to actually visit this page. It's just not made for people to see. It's a clear directory of the important information on your site so that when AI is searching, it doesn't have to dive through a bunch of HTML pages and find the right answer. It can quickly look through and navigate to the specific point in order to answer those questions. Again, all about quickly accessing information. The easiest way to really understand what we're talking about here is to pull up an example. So I'll go to our LLMs.txt file on our site, which you can actually visit too by going to usdigitalpartners.com/LLMs.txt. Before we look at this, it's important to note that while these files are widely recommended at this point, there's not a certain standard best practice that every single company follows. If you look at different companies that have LLMs.txt files, a lot of them are probably going to do it slightly differently. I'll show you our approach, which could be different in a few weeks' time, in which case we'll probably eventually give you an update on what we've learned. Don't take what we're saying as the definitive best practice, just give you some ideas to think about how these things actually work. So looking at our page here, we have our name, we have a little description about us to give AI a quick understanding of who we are. We have our last updated date because recency is very important for AI. And then we dive into a list of links. And while I mentioned that this is like the sitemap for AI, you'll probably notice that this page is not very big and there aren't very many links on here. We have a lot more pages on our website that are represented in this specific file. That's because the beauty of the LLMs.txt file is its brevity. AI is able to quickly read through it and find the information that we deem most important. This is where companies will do it differently. You'll find companies with significantly longer LLMs.txt files on their site that link out to more information. But for our purposes, we identified what we think were the most important articles, most important pages, and put them in here. So you'll see we have our key resources, information that we think AI needs to know to fully understand us. We have information about our services, we have good case studies that we like, and other resources that we think could be helpful when it's going out and answering those questions. Again, every company attempts this a little bit differently. Here's our approach, short and sweet. However, there is another layer to this that is not necessarily so short and sweet. And that's what's called the LLMs-full.txt file. And what that is what it sounds like, a longer form version that has a lot more information. Some do it like us, where it's a more in-depth version of the LLMs.txt file, where rather than linking out to things, we're answering the questions and giving information directly in this document. Other companies even have their whole website represented in this file. Both LLMs and LLMs-full.txt are written in a language called Markdown, which is essentially a simplified version of HTML. It's a lot easier for humans and AI bots to read. Now, when it comes to both of these files, if you look around and do any research online, you'll probably find debates on how effective these really are as tactics. You just see a lot of top companies starting to implement this strategy for their AI optimization. These files are certainly used a lot for development websites that have their documentation publicly out there so that AI can quickly review those. But there's some debate around the usefulness of these files. So we wanted to test that ourselves, and we put together an analytics system where we could see how often these pages were visited and by what user agents. So is a ChatGPT bot looking at our page, or is a training bot for one of these AI platforms looking at our page? And since we put both these pages out months ago, we've seen typically daily hits to these pages from AI bots. We don't know why and how and what they're doing with this information, but we do know that they're getting traffic. They're not getting found because we have these widely promoted. Most people don't know these even exist, nor do they need to. They're getting found because AI knows to look for them. It remains to be seen how important they are for AI optimization in general, but they're definitely a good place to start when trying to implement some technical AIO strategies on your own. Hopefully that gives you a good place to start. I know that's still a lot. Maybe you have more questions. I'm going to link our Calendly page down in the description so that if you want to talk to someone from our team To make this make a little bit more sense, you can book a meeting anytime and we can make that happen. But if you just want more content like this, want to watch and learn and read more, you can check out the rest of our YouTube channel. As I said, we have more videos like this out there if you haven't seen them already. You can read our FAQ pages on our website, which have a lot more useful information in them too. Or you can sign up for our email newsletter. We also have a LinkedIn version. Just gives you short marketing tips to your inbox every week. I'll put the link to that down in the description below as well. Until next time, best of luck getting your website up to spec for AI optimization, and thanks for watching.